Hello everyone, welcome to Contentment Guide Astrology. I am Michelle. Welcome to my channel. Welcome back if you've been here before. This video is about the new moon in Pisces. This falls either on the 27th or 28th of February. Where I'm at in South Africa, it is around about 2:44 a.m. in the morning when the new moon is exact in Pisces. So please share your comments, please like, please subscribe, please share with your friends if you find value in this. Your consideration and your interaction, it helps my channel to grow and it helps my business. I'm super grateful for that. So thank you for being here. So this new moon in Pisces, it's happening at exactly 9 degrees 44 minutes of Pisces, and at this time we have a real party of planets in the sign of Pisces. So we have the sun and the moon at 9 degrees 40 minutes, and then we have Saturn in Pisces at 20 degrees. We have Mercury in Pisces at 24 degrees. We have Neptune in Pisces at 28 degrees, and then we also have the North Node at the end of Pisces. So we have 5 planets in this watery Piscean emotional energy, and we have the North Node that's really placing our focus here and amplifying all of these energies. So I feel this is quite an important new moon. It is a start also of the eclipse cycle that is to follow in March, that I will do some more videos about. Yes, but this new moon is quite amazing in the sense that we have so much energy in Pisces. The ruler of the new moon is Jupiter, and Jupiter is currently still in Gemini. Jupiter has finished its 4-month retrograde, and it has now been moving forward since the 4th of February. So Jupiter in Gemini is opposite its home sign of Sagittarius, so it's a little bit more of a challenging place in that Jupiter needs to work a little bit harder in order to bring its own energies across. But what is amazing about this new moon is that we also have Mercury in Pisces, and Pisces is the ruler of Gemini. So in a way we have a more flowing energy happening here because of this mutual reception. We have Mercury in Pisces, which is Jupiter sign, and then we have Jupiter in Gemini, which is Mercury sign. So at the time of this new moon, there is a square energy happening between the new moon at 9 degrees 40 minutes and Jupiter at 12 degrees of Gemini. But because of this mutual reception and Mercury and Jupiter being in each other's houses, it's like it makes everything a bit more flowing, because it's like a very straight line of communication between Jupiter and Mercury. They're in each other's houses. It's like they can give a little bit of inside information as to how to work with this energy better. So even though it's a square and it can feel like a little bit more of a challenging energy, there's also this flow of whatever the tension of the square is trying to bring about for us. There is this harmony between Jupiter and Mercury. So this is really an amazing energy to work with at this new moon. And at this time, we also have Saturn and Mercury sextiling Uranus at 23 degrees of Taurus. So the sextile energy with Uranus is always about new insights, light bulb moments, changes of direction. So with this new moon, there's a real inclination to maybe find a new way forward. Saturn brings that grounding and a slowing down, and Mercury can bring insights in our way of thinking and our way of communication. And then we also have a sextile between Venus at 10 degrees of Aries and Jupiter at 12 degrees of Gemini. The interesting part about this sextile is that it never becomes exact. What is going to happen between the time of this full moon and on the 1st of March is that Venus is going to turn retrograde. So this is a very interesting energy I've spoken about before on my channel, when a planet refrains from making an exact aspect to another planet and then it turns retrograde. So with Venus turning retrograde, there's a reevaluation of our values, of our creative energy. So Venus is within 2 degrees of Jupiter here at this new moon in February, and then it starts its retrograde, and it's only going to then make an exact sextile to Jupiter at 28 degrees of Gemini. So Jupiter is at 12 degrees now. So by the time Venus has traveled to 28 degrees of Aries and Jupiter to 28 degrees of Gemini, only on the 4th of June they're going to make an exact sextile. So there's something in the story that we're getting very close to at the end of February, but it's not quite playing out yet. So the story between these two benefic planets, Venus and Jupiter, and making a very beneficial flowing aspect, the sextile, is only really going to play out and finish the story that is starting now at the beginning of June. And this is between the houses of Aries and Gemini. So this is a very interesting energy. There's going to be some amount of re-evaluation of our values, our relationships, and our creativity with this Venus retrograde. The Venus retrograde is very dynamic this year. It is happening in conjunction also with a Mercury retrograde. I will do a specific video about this combination of Venus and Mercury retrograde happening at this time. The Venus and Mercury retrogrades are playing out from the beginning of March into April. So yes, this is a lot of emotional, watery energy in Pisces. It's connecting with its ruler in Gemini, and Jupiter is ruled by Mercury. We've got this mutual reception between the two. So there's something being worked out at this new moon in terms of finding a new balance between our dreams and our logical mind, our intuition and our logical mind, a way of thinking. There's a new balance being found and a new way of moving forward. So Mercury being that very logical mind, communication, Jupiter being very expansive. It's about our beliefs. There's going to be an integration of new belief systems into the mind, especially after now Jupiter has finished its retrograde and is moving forward again with all of these things that were changed and revised while Jupiter was in its retrograde. The new moon, as you know, is when the sun and the moon are together. It is when the moon is at its darkest. And even though the new moon is the planting of a new seed, it is a start of a new moon cycle, it is also a very introspective time. So I threw the coins to get a I Ching reading for this new moon, and it feels very, very introspective. I got hexagram 52, which is called stabilizing. It says, it is the end of a cycle. Be calm and stabilize yourself. Recognize what has been accomplished. Find a point of stillness. Don't rush into the new. Don't take compulsive action because you think you need to. Find stillness and calm. Think over deeply about what has come before. So even though this is a new moon, it's really asking us to be very introspective. You know, Pisces is the end of the zodiacal wheel. I think it's asking us here to do some kind of review, to check what is working, what may not be working, what has come before we start moving forward again. Then hexagram 52 changed into hexagram 39. It says reimagine the situation. And this could be that Uranian energy that is forming a sextile to Mercury and Saturn. You know, a rethinking, a new perspective of the situation. It says keep still and find a new perspective. So there's definitely an invitation here with this new moon not to just rush forward. There's definitely a moment here to find stillness and re-evaluate before we move forward. It says review, but don't dwell on the past too much. Just stop before moving forward. Consult only with those who truly see your value. Turn inward and raise your own frequency and your own being up higher. So again, we're being called to be still. We're being called to go inward, get a higher perspective, raise our frequency. It says this is a time for inward connection and elevation of viewpoints. So I love this I Ching guidance. It's asking us to be still before we move forward. It's maybe asking us to spend this time of the dark moon in stillness by ourselves and to evaluate before we move, see what has come before, but don't dwell on it too much, just to find a new perspective. I think that's always great advice. So then I drew a tarot card that also really relates to this I Ching reading. I got the 8 of Pentacles, and the 8 of Pentacles is a card about apprenticeship. It is also a card about alone time. You know, he is sitting there by himself. You can see the town is way in the background. He's very painstakingly and slowly working on something, mastering a skill, developing himself, spending time alone, separate from the town. It's about an inner journey. He's concentrating very hard on improving his skill. So this really speaks to what the I Ching spoke to as well, to spend time alone at this new moon, to think about your skills, think about what has come before you move forward. So it really all comes together very beautifully, and a little bit of a time for just pausing before moving forward with this energy. So I also want to give each rising sign a indication of where this new moon falls for you. So for Aries rising, this is falling in your 12th house, and the new moon is in the 12th house, Jupiter is in the 3rd house. So there is some kind of integration here for you between your mind and your unconscious mind. Maybe integrating parts of your unconscious that you didn't integrate before, finding a new way to work in expanding the mind while integrating the unconscious mind. For Taurus rising, the new moon is in your 11th house and Jupiter is in the 2nd house. So for Taurus risings, there's some kind of rebalancing and integration between that house of colleagues, groups of friends, benefactors, maybe the money that you make from your career, and the 2nd house, which is your skills, your salary, your money, how you use your skills in the world. So there's an integration between people and skills, and how you combine the two, how you deal with people, how you make your money. There's a new way forward with this for Taurus risings. So for Gemini rising, this new moon falls for you in your 10th house of career, and Jupiter is in the 1st house for Geminis at this time. So there is a rebalancing and a reworking of what is happening in your career space, a new energy that wants to come in the career space, and balancing it with who you are and what your beliefs and your values are in the 1st house. For Cancer rising, this new moon is happening for you in your 9th house and Jupiter is in the 12th house. So for Cancer risings, this feels very spiritual. New moon in the 9th house can be new spiritual beliefs, a new spiritual practice. And the 12th house also dealing with esoteric things, unconscious things. So it might be bringing really deep and unconscious things from those liminal places and bringing those out of your subconscious mind into your spiritual life to be integrated. For Leo risings, for you, the new moon is in your 8th house and Jupiter is in the 11th house. So the 8th house is also one of those liminal spaces. The 8th house is about give and take. It is about karma. It's about resources that we get from other people. And Jupiter is in the 11th house also of groups, of colleagues, of benefactors, of other people. So for Leos, there's a balancing here of karma, of give and take, maybe of people coming to help us with resources, people bringing us clients, new perspectives, new things and new resources to work with going forward. For Virgo risings, this new moon is happening for you in your 7th house, and Jupiter is in the 10th house. So the new moon is in the house of relationships, romantic partners, one-on-one relationships, close friends, clients. And Jupiter is bringing that expansion and new beliefs, integration into your public life, your career. So there's a new balancing and integration happening here between the house of relationships and the house of career, maybe finding new ways forward of how balanced you are in your career and your relationships, and how you're now going to work with this going forward. For Libra rising, this new moon is happening in your 6th house. Jupiter is in the 9th house. So the 6th house is all about your daily schedule. It is about your daily work. It is also about your health. Jupiter is in the house of spirituality, of your beliefs, how you move through your spiritual life every day. It's also about foreign places, foreign cultures. So there's some kind of integration for Libras here. It could be about relating your daily health habits to your spiritual habits, finding a balance with that. It could be a schedule change to find more time to travel. This can be a beautiful energy in terms of working with health, combining, finding better habits, and seeing these things in a totally new light with your belief systems. So for Scorpio, this new moon is falling in your 5th house. Jupiter is in the 8th house. So for Scorpios, if you have children, the 5th house is about children. Otherwise, the 5th house is also known as the house of joy. Joy can be your children, it can be your hobbies, your creative life, your romantic life. And Jupiter in the 8th house is related to that liminal space of transformation, of karma, of give and take. So this can be a beautiful way of finding new balance between where you find joy and how you give and take from other people in your life, and even how others feature in that space of how you find your joy in life. For Sagittarius rising, the new moon is falling in your 4th house and Jupiter is in the 7th house. So for Sagittarius, 4th house is all about your home. It's your physical home, it's your family, it's internally where you feel at home in the world. It's about your ancestors, your genetics. And Jupiter is in that 7th house of close relationships, romantic relationships, clients, one-on-one relationships. So for Sagittarius, there's an integration here between home and relationships, finding new ways of thinking about this, finding new belief systems around this, and integrating this between the 4th and the 7th house. For Capricorn rising, the new moon falls in your 3rd house and Jupiter is in your 6th house. So the 3rd house, Capricorn, is all about your mind, your way of thinking, how you communicate in the world, and also your environment, your outer environment as in your neighborhood, and your inner environment as in the landscape of your mind and your thinking. And the 6th house is about daily schedules, it's about your health, and it's about your work. So for Capricorn, there's some kind of rebalancing and integration between your inner landscape, your outer landscape, of your neighborhood, how you think, how you operate with your schedules and your health. Maybe you start a new yoga practice, or you start running. There's something about the environment and your schedule and your health schedule and all of these things that can really change and be upgraded at this time. So for Aquarius, the new moon falls in your second house and Jupiter is in the fifth house. So the second house is about your resources, your inner and outer resources, your skills. And the fifth house is the house of joy. It is your hobbies. It's what you do to be creative. So for Aquarians, you might find something that brings you joy, like a hobby, can be turned into a resource at this point in time, or you just finding ways to really turn a skill that you already have into a hobby, or vice versa. It feels like a very creative integration between skills, resources, and creativity. And then we have Pisces rising. So this new moon is obviously in your first house. This is who you are. It's your body. And Jupiter is in the fourth house. So for Pisceans, there's an integration here between who you are, how you like to live in the world, your health, your body, and how you relate to these things in your home with your family. You might find a new way of being in the home. You might find that you suddenly feel like clearing a room to change into a yoga room or a gym, or a creative space, or something that is going to change who you are and how you relate to your home life. So thank you for being here. I really wish you all such a beautiful new moon. I would love to hear about your experiences of this new moon. Please leave a comment if you feel called. This is how we all learn about astrology, by seeing each other's experiences and hearing how these things play out. I am offering personal readings. Please contact me. I always leave the link below for my website. And please stay tuned for my videos on the Venus and Mercury retrogrades coming up. And soon I'll also start making videos about the eclipse season that is that has started now with this new moon, and we're going to have eclipses on the 14th of March and the 29th of March. So I really enjoy talking about this new moon. I think it has some wonderful potential for us to really discover new things about ourselves by being quite introspective. And I can't wait to hear how this plays out for you. I will see you next time.